What are you doing up? It's 2 a.m. You shouldn't even be out of bed. I'm just getting in. My friend's brother dropped me off. The fishbowl? Are you crazy? Look. I'll give you, look. One question, okay? And just where have you been all night, young lady? Well, if you must know, I've been to a party. A play party. Oh, don't give me that face. I didn't invite you because it's an adult party. A very adult party. Things can get pretty wild. The kind of party where somebody definitely stuck their dick in the mashed potatoes. Will you look at that? Suddenly, there's lots of questions. Okay, fine, but before I answer any of these, I better remind everybody to never ever forget the ever applicable and unequivocally official epigram here at Aunt Tracy's place. Aunt Tracy is a fictional character. Any similarities between the events described in this video and actual events is probably a fucking coincidence. Or the result of a bad trip, or a glitch in the Matrix, I don't know. Whatever you think sounds plausible. Okay. Spill. Let me be clear, I go to these parties every few weeks. I've seen women pegging each other, rope bunnies suspended from the ceiling, women being tied to the bed in their negligees, that kind of thing. I'm used to the stuff that goes on at these parties. Tonight wasn't much different. Did you get any action? Do you know what my friend's brother said to me as he dropped me off at the stoop? He said, "You look so beautiful tonight. I'm shocked nobody wanted to play with you." Thank you. I don't hook up very often at these things. Not for lack of vamping. I can be pretty flirtatious. I usually change into these outfits once I get to the party. And I don't go behind a curtain or anything. 9 times out of 10, the only thing that happens for me at these parties is the few people I never met before now know my name. It's good PR for the dildo store, meeting people in the kink community, but finding someone to play with me, particularly with other people there to see it going on, that can be a tall order sometimes. Why is that? Fear of the female penis, mostly. I wish I could rap. That would be a great name for my first album. A lot of guys don't want to be seen doing anything at a party that they consider a little too queer. They find me attractive, but they have conflicting feelings that prevent them from acting on the impulse. My usual role is to just be eye candy. To saunter about the party in my 7-inch heels and roll Dr. J's in the basement while everyone else goes upstairs and swaps panties. It's not lost on me that were I born with a vagina, I'd be a lot more popular at these events. It's not lost on me at all. In fact, it's kind of hard not to dwell on it. A lot of times I go to these parties to find I'm too old for the queer crowd and too queer for the old crowd. Why not find a queen your own age to play with? I'd love to, but there's only like 10 of us left. And I can't stand being in the same room with 6 of us. It's usually straight men and lesbians that are attracted to me anyway, but getting one of them to act on that attraction, to admit it to themselves and other people, they're all terrified of that prospect. They're afraid they might get some of my trans on them. The only real way to guarantee you get any action at these parties is to bring someone with you. But I don't know anybody who's interested in me that I could bring along. So I have to do pickup play. I have to go to the parties and try to meet somebody once I'm there. But then people don't talk to me because I'm there alone and they don't know if I'm safe or not. So tired of vicious cycles. It's weird how the only way I can seem to gain homosocial acceptance is if I've been publicly degraded X number of times. Only then will I be considered safe to be around. By the end of the party tonight, everyone was upstairs getting naked while I was down in the basement reading comics and getting stoned. Just like high school. So you never hook up at these things? I can't say that. There's pictures of me on the internet with my heels wedged into the bed frame above my head and naked men crawling all over me. Considering these photos exist, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't hook up at these parties. I've been the submissive cuffed to the bed. I've been stripped and spanked and licked and whipped. And there's a reason I carry wet wipes and dry towels in my purse. Your Aunt Tracy's what's known as a unicorn. That's a single, unattached person that a bisexual couple will seek out to add a little spice to the bedroom. Sometimes unicorns get absorbed into the polycule, or at least, so I hear. I've never had anything come to it beyond a night of fun. Mostly I get used like one of those party favor horns that you blow for a few hours and then discard the next day. It's been pretty efficient dating polycules. I can go out, sleep with, and then never hear from people again, 2 to 5 at a time. I'm doing a speed run through the dating pool. Wait, Tracy, aren't you asexual? Why even bother? You caught me. I'm not really interested in having sex with anybody at all. But like I talked about in my Samson and Delilah video, I can go to a kink event and not really feel out of place. There's always other gender non-conforming people at these things. Just most of them are assigned female at birth or cross-dressing straight guys. I rarely meet another trans femme. I'm usually the only one there. You know, I talk a lot in my videos about the perils of using your sexuality for personal gain, but I never said I wasn't guilty of doing exactly that. I may not be seeking out a sugar daddy for a better job or media attention, but I have been using my sexuality to get what I want. And what I want lately, more and more, is to make some true friends. So how many friends have you made along the way? It hasn't really gotten me anywhere. Yet. I remember earlier this summer I was in the middle of a male-female-female sandwich. And the woman behind me and I started talking about how difficult it is to make friends as adults. She and I talked about getting together and hanging out. She even mentioned inviting me to a nudist pool party to introduce me to more people. But after she made her O face, that must have just slipped her mind, because I never received that invitation. But I mention this to illustrate my point. If I want to meet new people, I have to go to social gatherings. The more the merrier, the better my odds. And the 2 places in my area where most single adults gather are Sunday church services and sex dungeons. And where do you think I would get a warmer reception? At least at the sex dungeons, they just tie me up and flog my naked skin. They don't torture me with conversion therapy. Don't get discouraged, Tracy. You may as well keep trying. There's someone out there for everyone. It isn't hopeless or anything. It just takes persistence. Perhaps more so than it does for a lot of other people, but you've got to hang in there, right? It's not like people don't show interest in me, but the kind of interest. That's a stickier wicket. I get a lot of superficial interest. My friend's brother wasn't the only one to call me beautiful tonight. So many people talked to me and laughed at my jokes and complimented my outfit or my shoes or my eyeshadow or the length of my legs and whether or not they go all the way up. It's only when I start telling people about myself that things get weird and awkward, and I begin to wonder, if the vast majority of everyone I meet is only interested in me superficially, doesn't it make sense to pour all my energy in that direction? To become the campy queer wallpaper. I'd be fake as f, but I'd appear effortlessly glamorous. Just fortify my outer shell. Craft a resilient persona and perpetually be the public-facing image of feminine grace and confidence. Both beautiful and fascinating to behold. Like maybe a diamond. I flashed the cover of Immortal X-Men number 4 on more than one occasion in my videos, often thought of as the Emma issue, because we get to read her inner monologue as she confronts her past and her personal demons. Emma's been sleeping in diamond form, a defense mechanism both against psychic dream invaders and the ravages of time. After all, diamond is unaging. Diamonds are forever. Her on-again, off-again relationship with Scott Summers has been shaky. He doesn't really understand what's important to Emma. She both doesn't know what Scott sees in her, and she knows exactly what Scott sees in her. Just like that, like a true telepath, Emma's in my head, and she's feeling exactly what I'm feeling. Knows everything I know, and understands how difficult it is to know exactly how magnificent you are, while also knowing you're nothing. Let me be clear. I have a diamond form. It's the form I take to attend these parties. The one I present to my customers in the store. and the public in general. It's the face I keep in a jar by the door. It's the reason for the ever-applicable and unequivocally official epigram here at Aunt Tracy's place.
Aunt Tracy is a fictional character.
We get it. I'm telling you in my videos about the real Tracy. But it isn't exactly the real Tracy if you want to get hyper-real about it. The disclaimer is my way of tipping you off that I take creative liberties for dramatic purposes. Sometimes I'm being completely honest and genuine. Sometimes I'm being fake and actressing. It's deliberately vague and confusing because life's like this. So complicated. So mostly you get my diamond form. And Diamond Tracy's been going places. I started doing open mics, my channel's doing okay. I even got invited to give a class on self-confidence even though I'm totally overqualified to teach that course. I kinda kick ass in diamond form. It's even become my go-to self-affirmation. Whenever things get brutal and I need to be resilient, I tell myself, there's no time for crying. I'm a fucking diamond. Shine on. Do you still try to keep an authentic viewpoint? Of course. I realize it'd be impossible to make the jump from total stranger to friends or lovers unless you can connect on that level. Can't be a diamond all the time. Being impervious has a cost. Nothing gets in or out. The problem is I get a lot of positive reinforcement when I'm a diamond. Not so much when I'm fleshy and vulnerable. People like to kick me when I'm down. Just when I think I've had enough of being hit with transgender pornographer burn in hell, I get ambushed from the other side with childless cat ladies or the devil. I'll show you a fucking cat lady. Meow. And like Emma, I find myself taking on diamond form more and more as a defense mechanism, even when no one else is around. And I worry sometimes that I'm going to lose touch with that inner, authentic version of me, that I will sacrifice empathy for control, so I can remain pristine and untouched, like a diamond. But you're right, if a person were to come along who was interested in knowing what was underneath my shiny, unblemished exterior, and they find there isn't anything there, then we have nothing to work with. No way to build a true relationship. And we've been over this. It was one of the themes in The Strange Woman. And we all know I'm starved for companionship. We talked to death about my fears of spending the rest of my life alone and how to win friends and influence chasers. Nevertheless, here we are back in bed with Emma. Still sleeping in diamond form. Still thinking my same thoughts. Still hoping to protect ourselves. Still wanting to believe that we need to worry about getting old. And that's the problem with telepathy. You can make anyone believe anything you want, except yourself. Let me be clear. Meow.